shot recoveries. You're fighting a fairly true to form A-frame, so your shot recovery is going to be a little bit different. You're kind of just kind of figure out what you're doing as far as defense goes. You're a lefty. Your shot recovery is going to be a little different, but what you really need to work on is your range. The problem you're having right now, fighting against your righties, is you're taking your move too far out. So if you're standing back like here, let's say that's my opponent here. Okay, if you're trying to throw a shot in here and they're not stepping up, what's going to happen is you're going to leave your leg exposed and you're going to have a tough time getting around, which is what you want to do. So you want to move probably about maybe a half a step in, a little closer, because you also want to be able to use your shield to box out that return that you're going to get when you move in. But you're close. You're doing good. Just a little tweak. That's all. Okay, now as the experienced fighter, generally what I like to do when I'm training less experienced fighters is I want to fight about that much higher than them. Okay, you don't want to overwhelm them, but at the same time you want to pull them up a little bit. What I used to do if I'm sparring with somebody, a newer fighter, is I go through, let them take their shots, see what they got, because you're kind of evaluating what they're doing. And then, let's take the last 1 or 2 fights, you'd say, okay, now we're going to go for real. And then you crank it up. You want them to get an idea of what a fast fight's going to look like. But at the same time, you don't want to overwhelm them during the course of the practice session. Okay. If you're a newer fighter, whole different ballgame. What you want to learn is you want to step it up. So you're going to kind of absorb what's going on, but you want to fight pretty hard because you're trying to get up higher. Right.
Do you mean like be more aggressive?
A lot of it is going to be true to what your nature is in fighting. If you're normally an aggressive fighter, then you're going to learn an aggressive style. If you're not an aggressive fighter and you're more of a studious fighter, then you're going to have to learn to kind of lay back. But this is strictly a personality thing. I mean, some of it can be dictated by your body type. If you have somebody that's kind of maybe on the shorter side, naturally sort of aggressive, and they're probably going to be more successful, waiting and be more aggressive. Taller fighters, lankier fighters, they have a kind of a natural body advantage to kind of laying back and doing things that way, but it's not universal. I've seen 6'8" fighters that are, will get right in your face, and I've seen 5-foot fighters that will lay back. So, but it's a personality thing. Alrighty.
Like gauntlets and weapons, or
nah, just grab a sword. Yeah, if you want. Where's my stuff? There. Oh, thanks. I got it. All right. Okay, so. All right. What you don't want to do is club. So when you're taking a shot, you don't want to throw and then try to drag yourself back. You want to make everything smooth. One thing, if you're going to fight an A-frame style like you're fighting, right, that's part of the problem there is if you're holding out like this with your tip forward, you're going to lose a lot of power in your initial strike.
Yeah.
So
But this feels like I'm undefended.
yeah, it does, but you're not.
Okay.
Move your, okay.
Yeah, so I've still got.
Right, here's where we're going to stop that shot in between. What you have to worry about now is, of course, that.
Yep.
That's your weak spot. And anytime I can get you to open up here and crease you down the middle is your weak spot and your leg. And if I have a good offside leg, that's going to be an issue too. That's just the nature of the style. But what you don't want to get is in the habit of doing this, holding your sword forward, tip forward. Right, even just like that, because what's going to happen is you're going to take all the power, and when you do a shot recovery, you have to bring everything back. So, the shield so you can see. Basic shot recoveries work like this. You have a, I'm going to go over the shotgun style because it's a little easier. The easiest one is the side recovery, or the kind of a sweep recovery. So basically, if I take a shot like this, that's my recovery, really easy. That's the old windshield wiper. Back. But also, I can go here, go like that. Now you see the overhand thing? Okay, so if I'm going up here, my recovery can be like that overhead. Okay, so watch my elbow, just like that. Okay, over and through. The thing about that is those are going to be for high shots. It's really hard if you're going to do that overhead circle recovery to go down low because you've got a long way to go. So if you're going to do that, if I'm in a shot like here, what's going to happen is I'll take my shot. Now I'm going to bring back like this. I'm going to move my sword out, tip out like this, and then come back like that. Okay. When you practice this, you're going to practice wide, you're going to fight narrow. So if I'm just doing shadow drills or I'm working on a PEL, and I do my side recovery, we're going to do the whole thing like that. Okay, watch my hips. See the hips can come out. Right. If I'm fighting, I'm not going to go all the way back like this because it's too slow. What I'm going to do is I'm going to do a half shot. So like that. Much faster. Okay. And again, I would consider practicing your overheads. Those are really easy. Sides, a little harder. And then my windshield wipers, like that. Okay. Those are your 3 basic shot recoveries. The reason you want to do these is because when you start throwing combinations, it's going to make your combinations smoother. You're going to get more power behind them, and it's going to be faster. If you ever see like the Western style guys, so Western style guys, the old West Kingdom style, Bellatrix, Radnor, all those guys. That's their style. Yeah. Up like that. Right. What this does, because it looks slow. I mean, it's a lot slower than your first initial shots off of fighting your A-frame. But they start cranking up. So what's going to happen is, if you're throwing an A-frame, you're going to throw maybe 2-3 shot combination. Those guys will throw 10. Once they start getting cranked up, bam, 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 they'll just keep throwing. I've seen, I saw Jade one time, legendary fighter out of the West, and he's fighting Lucan from the East. And Lucan kind of ticked him off, which is a bad thing. So Jade hit him with a 10-shot combination. He hit him with 9 of them. Just bam, 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 bam. It was, just like Lucan's in the ground, curled up in a fetal position. So I want to practice shot recoveries. Okay, now, lefty. Yeah, 2 lefties? Okay. All right, so. Okay. All right, so here I am. What do you want to do? What are you looking to do? Yep, you want to get around. Okay. And how do I get there? How do you get there? Yeah, you can step over. Make sure you got your shield boxed out nice. That's good. Okay. The other thing is you want to try to bring me over. So you also want to practice your backhands. So if you take a backhand here, okay, get your feet right. Okay, so take the backhand here, nice and slow, and then take your step. That brings me over and gives you a wider angle.
Yeah, that's what Thor does.
Right.
Almost nonstop.
That's the lefty game. Lefties are really easy. You have to learn to throw about 4 shots. That's all you need, and then you're going to be fine. Unless you're fighting another lefty, you're lucky because you have another lefty here. The two of you could actually practice fighting like righties. This is going to come in really handy because what happens is you get an area where you get one lefty, and they know how to fight like a lefty, left and right. They have no idea once they come across another left-handed fighter how to fight. It's the ugliest fight in the world. If you get a fighter like Gareth or Andreas Morgan, they've been fighting a long time. They fought enough lefties to where they know how to actually fight like two righties. Makes a big difference. So you two practice as much as you possibly can together. Okay, just try to get used to it to do it. So everything I'm showing you now with the right-handed fighters, now you're going to switch over and start doing that kind of stuff. Okay. Well, what are you using for a shield? Heater? Oh, okay. Oh, here. All right. No, that's already. That's not going to work for you. What do you got, center grip around?
Do you remember that?
Okay.
I don't think we need to go on this one for now, right?
No, you're fine. Okay. How long you been fighting? 2 months. 2 months? Okay. No, that's all right. Okay. All right, so go into guard. Okay. Yeah, defensive, but it'll work. All right, so what I would recommend with that, I mean, it's a good defensive thing to get around. You can block down here for the incoming shots off the righties. The problem is you're giving up a whole lot of offense doing it this way. So what you might want to do is bring this over a little bit like that. Okay, like that. Okay, and that gives you a little better. You're not going to feel as secure with your headshots, but that's going to give you a little better option, some better options with your sword. Because right now, as you have it here, you're really limited in what you can do as far as taking your shots go. And there again, I'm not going to hit you, but I'm just going to show you the shots. You're going to want to throw here, here, and the big one is box out and then come around. And when you do this for your wrap, you want to have your foot right about here. Take your shield, box out, and then you've got the entire anything you want to hit, basically. One thing you can do if they do it on you, if you're really getting a touch spot, so I get position on you. I'm going to come around like this, lower your sword. Pick up the block here. Got that? Okay. All right, so go into guard. Okay, now I've worked you around to where I've got position on you here. Okay, you're in big trouble. Take that sword down to the block. Okay, yep. There's an old count up in Eldemir, lefty, and he actually fights like this. He'll actually hold his sword out and yeah, and actually fight like that. But he does a lot of thrusting work. I never liked the style, but it worked for him. Okay. So what are you doing as far as like Pell work? Okay, you're still doing Pell work? You know what Pell work is? You don't? Okay, you do. We got a Pell here. Yeah, usable.
It's in my garage. Okay. It's too cold to repair it.
That's okay. Fun thing with Pell work is you're not trying to beat the Pell into submission. I know a guy that was he was kind of nuts, and he actually he did like 100 Pell shots a day, and he did it on a telephone pole. He actually broke the telephone pole. He over the course of about a year, he actually like kept hitting it until he like basically fractured it, the thing fell over. Then he had to explain that, oh, I don't know how it happened. But what you want to do with Pell work is you want to smooth out your shots. So like that, and this is where your recoveries come in really handy. What a lot of people will advertise is doing 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So you'll do 1, 2, 1, 3, 1, 4, 1, 5, 1, 6, and then you go 2 and go all the way around. That's not a bad way to go. Make sure if you're doing Pell, you don't need to do that. Nice and easy. What you're really looking for is form. Just making sure all your form is nice and smooth. Going up like that. Everything's nice and easy. I recommend for the first year of a fighter, if you really want to do this, do Pell work to smooth your shots out. Again, make sure your form is correct because that's what you really want. Doing bad form on a Pell for 5 days a week is just going to ingrain bad habits. When you get a little higher up, now you're going to change. The Pell work, if your shots are coming in fine, you really don't need to keep doing that over and over and over again because you're really not gaining a lot of benefit from it. Then you want to start doing shadow work. And what that involves is you don't even need a sword for that. You want to get a mirror or a big window or something like that where you can actually see your reflection. And at that point, what you're going to do is start going through your motions. And you're going to choreograph what you want your shots to be. So, all right, let's say I'm going to do the standard forehand, backhand, leg drop. Okay, so here, bear in mind I've got my hand here if I don't have my shield, because I want to make sure I keep it in front. I don't want my hand out here as I'm throwing my shots. So here, stepping in. Okay. So as you choreograph your shots and you get used to what you want to do, moving through, you want to keep doing that over and over again in some kind of place where you can look. And the key to that one really is having a hand or shield here, because what's going to happen is as you start to understand fighting more, you're going to be able to understand that as you're throwing your shots and working through your routine, you're going to see the places where the counters are going to come. Because if you're throwing shots, someone's going to throw a counter punch at you. If your hand up here and you're looking through, looking at the surface where you can see yourself, you can see where your openings are going to be. And what that's going to kind of guide you on how to block. At some point, when you're up a little bit higher, I like going to buckler. And the reason I like to go into buckler is because you're dealing with something about this big. And the way to deal with something that size is you have to move in such a way that you're limiting your opponent's shots. In this way, if you do it correctly with a buckler, you might only have to block one place. So if I'm fighting somebody, I'm going to move my body position, my buckler here. Okay. So I keep my range out here. Where can he hit? Okay, staying in this range here. Yeah, pretty much that's it. That's all I got to block. I can block here, here. That's it. He's never going to go anything on the other side. Right. If I'm up here, okay, now what's your shots? Okay, yeah, you're really tough in there. Right, you can, but so what's going to happen is I'm going to go here. I'm going to black out here. Now all of a sudden, yeah, now I've really limited your shots.
Yeah.
This is really not a good shot here. You can maybe get it in, but you're not going to seed it. I got to block here. That's it. What I usually recommend if you ever start going to a buckler is do it this time of year. And then if you're not a sword and shield fighter, switch back to sword and shield. It's going to be like fighting in front of a wall at that point. So the nice thing about the five of you being here is a lot of fighters will fight when the weather's nice, especially if they don't have an indoor site. So they're going to fight to like September, October. They're not going to pick up a sword until, April, May. So if you can fight now, when you really want to start working on stuff, you're going to be way ahead of them by the time they come in. All that's extra fighting stuff. And this is a time of the year when you want to start working on new techniques, new shots, new combinations, new movements, new weapon forms, all that kind of stuff. Because once you start getting into April or May, if you're going to start fighting tournaments or melees, you don't want to be messing around with new stuff too much then. Okay. Any questions?
About shadow work and practicality. Sounds like it shouldn't matter how far from the mirror where you are.
Not really. It doesn't make a difference.
As long as it's close enough to see.
Yeah, close enough to see. Basically, I always kind of imagine an area that where my opponent's going to be and do that. But mostly, you kind of get that in your head. But yeah, you don't want to hit the mirror. But
well, I've got a spot in my garage where attic where the mirror's a little far away to be getting up too close. But from here to here, I actually have a lot of.
Yeah, no, that's fine. Yeah, and if I used to when I was working. I had a second job working in a warehouse, and they had the break room had like a huge window that I could see myself in. So I used to go in during break time, and they had like a wiffle bat. And I used to use that just to run through with, and that worked fine. So, yeah. Any questions? No. Daniel, I got a question for you. Do you ever do practice tournaments?
Practice tournaments?
Yeah.
You know what? No, I don't think we have done practice tournaments.
Okay.
You mean like just here at practice?
Yeah.
That would be a good idea.
Yeah.
We got the numbers.
Yeah. If you seem to have the numbers. What's going to happen is if when you go in your first tournament, you're going to be nervous. Maybe your 50th tournament, you're going to be nervous. So you have tournament anxiety. You want to get over that, and the easiest way to do that is repetition. If you do like one practice tournament a month here, yeah, it's not crown, but at the same time the stakes are a little higher, and you'll start to get over that tournament anxiety. What I like to do is change it up. So I might do a bear pit tournament this month. Next month I might do best 2 out of 3 single limb. After that I might do round robin, all different formats. So you kind of get used to different formats.
That's not a bad idea.